Hello everyone, good morning. So in this video, we will understand what is a theoretical framework. Okay, so some of the research format, this theoretical framework is placed in the chapter 2 or the RRLS part, but then some of the formats place this theoretical framework right after the introduction or the background of the study. Okay, so first let us understand what is a theory. Now, why do we need to have this as part of the dissertation, part of the thesis or your research? Okay, so a theory, it is a well-established principle that has been developed by social scientists, or the scientists, or the thinkers, or the philosophers. It has been developed to explain a phenomena. And when we talk about framework, that is a structure underlying a system or that supports the concept or a text. So that is theoretical framework. It is a structured set of concepts or theories and assumption that provide a foundation for a research, no, to guide the analysis and the interpretation. Now, we will discuss these steps, no, in writing the theoretical framework. Um, Later, I will present my crafted theoretical framework of my dissertation, and it has been defended publicly. So rest assured that it has been examined, scrutinized by experts in the field of research. Okay, first is you identify the key concepts in your research. You have to be very, of course, you are the ones establishing or creating or getting those variables, the constructs, the sub-variables, really the topic, the problem of your research. You identify key concepts in your research, and then you conduct a literature review and evaluate all those theories that might relate or could be a basis or that will be that your study could be anchored on, and then select the most appropriate, the most relevant theories or theory, and then explain that theory, and then relate that theory to your study, and then you can add some visualization or visualize the framework. Okay, let us first talk about identify key concepts in your research, find out key terms in your research, and then review your research questions, objectives, and problem statement. And then look into your key variables, your IV and the DV, as well as the sub variables, the possible correlation, and the interplay of these variables. Okay, you have to be very familiar on that because that is your study. And then after that, and after identifying, no, you conduct a literature review. That is our step number 2. Conduct a literature review and evaluate the theories. Okay, find a theory and explain, then explore what model or framework other researchers have developed out from that theory. Okay, so you can prompt this one. You can prompt your key variables to the Google engine or any AI assistive tool to find theories that your study can be anchored on, and then read its relevance and how this theory could support your study. And then let us not mistaken the theoretical framework with the literature review, because when we talk about the literature review part, no, they are not the same because a theoretical framework describes the theoretical underpinnings of your work, while the literature review critically evaluates sources relating to your topic, not just limited to theories. Okay? Next. Okay, next slide tayo. Okay, step number 3. All right, so select the most appropriate theory or theories. So why is this theory or theories? Because you can use just one theory, and then you can also use multiple theories that is appropriate to use, no, that could really support your study. And then choose the theories that best aligns with your study. Okay, so I have here sample of the theories. There are plenty of theories that has been developed by social scientists, by philosophers, by uh, uh, the psychologists, right? So I have used this situated learning theory because I have the problem with my research, and that is functional illiteracy. And then social efficiency theory, I believe that this theory could be a foundation to my study. And then Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory, I could also use this one for my cultural practices, the variable, and then the hierarchy of needs, which will help me explain, no, the my variable, which is the malnutrition, and also with the other variable. Okay. Next is you explain the theory. So on after finding the theory, you explain the theory, you use academic definition, and then cite sources. That is an ethical way of using their definition of the most established um, thinkers, no, in the field, and then explain how this theory could back up your studies. Okay. And then next is relate the theory to your study. Apply the theory to your study. You clearly state now how the chosen theory explains the phenomena you are investigating. Okay? And then you visualize the framework. It will help your readers fully understand your arguments. So, although this is just an optional, but this will help the reader quickly understand your arguments if you have provided them with visuals. All right. Now, before you conduct, I am now in the part of sharing my own theoretical framework of my dissertation. Before writing the body, of course, we have the introductory paragraph. Kailangan yan, okay? So, this is my introductory paragraph. Theoretical and conceptual framework, causal model of functional literacy will be developed, linking curriculum content, cultural practices, malnutrition, and discipline, using relevant and important theories to support the study. Okay, so this is my introductory paragraph, and then I have chosen this situated learning theory. So I will read this one, and then the title of my study is Curriculum Content, Cultural Practices, Malnutrition, and Discipline in Public Secondary Schools, a Causal Model of functional illiteracy. So this is one of my theory that I believe will support my dissertation. So situated learning theory, or the SLT, this theory I explain what the theory is all about. No, this theory posits that learning occurs best in context and through participation in the real world activities. The aim of education must be to prepare learners to become responsive to the needs of their community, ready for future jobs, and to become productive citizens. Situated learning was first proposed by Jean Liv and Etienne Winger in 1991. So you have really to acknowledge, no, the author of the theory. Okay, you have really to cite them. And then, this theory asserts that learning is a social process whereby knowledge is constructed if learning is situated in a context that is directly useful in a particular social and physical environment. Kasi nga, one of my variable is functional illiteracy. Okay, so contrastingly, then I interplay all those related studies that uses this theory, and then I have explained onwards, no, the relevance of this theory and why is this theory important and could back up to my study. Okay, another theory. Okay, I also chose the social efficiency theory in education, which emphasize that this will relate to my curriculum content. Okay, so social efficiency theory in education emphasize that the primary purpose of school is to prepare students with specific skills and behaviors that society needs for efficient functioning. It ensures that curriculum provides measurable outcomes, enabling students to develop the competencies necessary to contribute effectively to the workplace and society. The curriculum, therefore, should focus on practical and utilitarian skills to enable learners to fulfill their social roles. Social efficiency approaches aim to reduce functional illiteracy by focusing education on workplace relevant and practical knowledge, okay, and so on. And then I have also introduced the proponent of this theory on my later explanation. Okay, another theory that I've chose on my title. This is another theory, the Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory. This will support my cultural practices. Now variable. Okay, so this was developed by Yuri Bronfenbrenner in 1979. Again, I acknowledge the proponent of the theory and then I explain. No? So this theory emphasizes that human is shaped by many influencing factors in the environment, not including my cultural practices because that is one of my key variables or my key concept of my study. Ecological theory posits that the microsystem, mesosystem, ecosystem, and macrosystem collectively influence an individual's life, a microsystem, and so on and so forth. I have discussed the theory and explained the theory, and I have argue also, I have also explained that this theory could really back up to my key variable, which is the cultural practices, no, which could influence to functional illiteracy. All right, another theory I have chose also the Maslow's hierarchy of needs because this will back up my malnutrition concept or variable, no? So this theory posits that basic I have just extracted some portion, ha. I have not presented everything here. Okay, I just want you to know that one because how did I use or how did I explain this theory that could back up my study? Okay, so I have used the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This theory poses that basic physiological needs must be met first before higher level cognitive functions or learning can occur. No, a five-tier motivational model depicts the hierarchical level within the pyramid. Okay, so before fulfilling, so inirelate ko na siya sa study ko which is functional illiteracy. Before fulfilling the higher growth needs, people must first satisfy the lower level physiological needs, which is the food, right? Then physiological needs refer to the biological requirement for human survival, including the food, the water, shelter, and clothing. These are the basic needs for human survival. And then after this one, then if the physiological needs has been met, no, learning now can occur. Okay, and then so on and so forth.